racial, man, racial. Outside the Box, your man Ation. Like, subscribe, and share. Catch us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. As we always say, let's roll with it. We got another story, and I'm sure you guys heard about it. It's been a couple of days. I haven't quite wrapped my mind around it. I'm still trying to digest this because, you know, Stephen A. Smith, who was not really a racial guy. I really admire the guy. I have for a long time. I've been watching him, followed him even when he was working in Philadelphia. You know, he was a sports writer before he became this big conglomerate that he is right now, cashing $1 million checks and all that, you know. So it's kind of funny, you know, brother like of his stature, of his background, to really come from the bottom and rise to a place where he's like one of the highest paid people that ESPN has ever signed to a contract. Young brother, you know, doing well, came, you know, took his lumps, did his thing, worked hard, persevered, and he gets to this place. Now, I'm sure sometime along the way that somebody may not have wanted to give him a spot, but hard work and determination never cease to amaze me. You know, it always will supersede anything else that anybody has in store for you, even if somebody has it in for you, even if somebody doesn't believe that you racially don't belong. Funny thing, he's sitting right up there with the big dogs, where old Dan Patrick used to sit, and where old SVP sits, you know, who you watch every night after these games, post-game coverage by Scott Van Pelt, you know. And Stephen A. Smith is always featured on everything. Few years back, I remember Stephen A. Smith really went with a racial topic. It was a racial topic, and Stephen A. Smith stood on the side of a more conservative man, because that's what he is. He's a very conservative guy. And he spoke on behalf of, you know, people by saying, you know, basically stop trying to turn everything into a racial issue. And I got to try to find a clip. I got to get that to you guys, because he went on, he rambled about something. And this brother took so much heat and hell for what he said. It wasn't even funny. And it was all because he wasn't stating a black enough platform for what he had to say. Like, he wasn't taking the side of black people, so to speak, you know, what he said. And it disturbed me when it happened. But I think since that time, for some reason, as he's continued to fall into this very liberated station that he works for, because, you know, if anybody knows ESPN, they've become, you know, social gurus all of a sudden. And nobody seems to want to take into account self-responsibility for people in terms of doing things. So what we do is we go on mainstream TV and television, start saying all this stuff, and everything has to line up with that station or the department he works for. So in context with that, over the past couple of years, Stephen A. Smith has made a big statement by really, you know, using his black card quite often. You know, he wants to use a black card quite often. And he steps into his arena and he says all these things on behalf of black people. And it's almost like everything that's going on right now, never mind the character, never mind the background, never mind the track record of an individual. It has to be about what is dealing, you know, and we're going to get to that right now. What black people are dealing with, it only kind of centers around their race. It doesn't center around work ethic or style or whatever, or a fit for the program. And you know, if you worked any length of time, you know that when you go places, it depends on the fit. Now, last week we had New Jersey Nets, and the Brooklyn Nets, so to speak. The Brooklyn Nets decided to hire Steve Nash. And I'd be doggone if they didn't turn this into a racial issue too. Because, God forbid, you can't have anything go on in the country right now at this moment in time and not make it a racial issue. And Stephen A. Smith did just that. He went on mainstream TV that first part of the morning and just laid it all out there on First Take, just went all the way in, talking about how, you know, he feels like that this was a racial call, and with all this going on in the country and the optics that are going on, that we should have hired a black coach, and it was black coaches available and all this kind of stuff. And then he goes on to kind of clean it up and says, like, look, I'm not tripping on the basketball ops guy and who he hired. I'm not tripping on Steve Nash. I'm disappointed in Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, because why would they request him? Why would they request him with all that's going on in the country? As though somehow, some way, everything that's going on in the country has to do with Steve Nash getting a job with the Brooklyn Nets. Nothing whatsoever. I don't care how you slice it. That is ridiculous garbage for you to bring in a white man who's hired by an organization or a team and equate that to what's going on in the country. Now, let's just visit this for a quick second, and then I'm going to get off of this. Between 1978 and now, there have been 16 coaches with no experience. This is what he was talking about. No experience, no background in coaching and blah, 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 blah. And you could have hired anybody, Mark Jackson and Ty Lue and he threw out a couple other names. And so what I'm saying is, okay, why can't Steve Nash have the job? Because he doesn't have any experience either? Because he's white? Is that what we're going with? Because he's white. And I think we were the ones as black people who were the ones who said that, people shouldn't be hired because of their, skin color. But we are bringing this up or bringing it to light right now. So I'm a little confused because 16 coaches hired since 1978 that had no experience. 8 of those coaches, so 50% of those 16 were black coaches. You can go back. You can go Paul Silas. If you know basketball a little bit, you can go Avery Johnson. You can go Mark Jackson. And then he tried to say and turn it around and say, well, these coaches, no coaches walked into a situation like Steve Nash did. We've got a championship-ready team. Who said they're championship-ready? We ain't seen these guys come together yet. We ain't seen them play. If you watch NBA for any length of time, you know that there are numerous people that have gone to teams and loaded the team with a bunch of players and they still didn't win the ship. So I'm trying to figure out what he's talking about is a ready-made team because they have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving on that team. And so he's saying that Steve Nash got a ready-made situation. This never happens for a black man. That's garbage because many of these coaches that he named before, again, 8 coaches that had no experience that was hired into positions or positions, Derek Fisher even, who didn't have the background experience, Magic Johnson, to name a few. And so what I'm saying is that those coaches coached good teams. The fact that they didn't win a championship doesn't make it the fact that they didn't coach a team that was ready made to do anything or do anything in the league or in the playoffs. And you can't do that with Brooklyn. Now, to make it even more stupid, this is what we do all the time. We keep bringing up race and we're fusing race into the equation and making it a topic. So much what we fought to get away from, now we're asking for. And so, when he started mentioning all these people, and look to Tyronn Lue, I'm saying Tyronn Lue actually coached Kyrie Irving already in Cleveland. How do we know that Kyrie Irving wanted to play for Ty Lue again? How do we know that? And Ty Lue had an opportunity, and he coached a few years down in Cleveland, and he had his shot. So what's wrong with Steve Nash getting a shot? Why does it have to do? And did anybody stop? Is it just me, or did anybody stop to think that when he talked about black men not having power? Funny thing, I think the 2 men that requested Steve Nash were black men with power. Interesting. 2 black men who basically were responsible in the media, that's what we've been hearing, were responsible for requesting this guy as their coach. And you're telling me that black people don't have power on the airwaves. But yet 2 black men requested this man and they got their man. So now Steve Nash will be coaching the Brooklyn Nets, and we'll sit around here playing footsies and tiddlywinks and whining and complaining about the race of the man. And hopefully, I hope he does well, because I think it's ridiculous for us to be bringing this to the forefront and making it a topic in this climate and equating the deaths of criminal behavior guys to this equation as though that somehow connects with a white coach being hired by the Brooklyn Nets that 2 black men asked for who have power in the organization. Go figure that one out. When you figure that one out, please let me know. I'd like to find out your answer. Now I can go from here to Timbuktu talking about this same situation. But that's okay. I'm going to cut it right here for now. And I'm going to let you come back and we'll talk some more again later about another topic. Oh, don't forget, we got to deal with LeBron James too. My man, he don't want nobody to say shut up and just dribble. He wants to say, well, I'm more than just a player. And you want to say all that, but then you jump at the opportunity to come up with some nonsense the minute stuff starts happening around America that looks racial to you. I wish you would have went to college, man. I really do. I think it would have been good for you. Anyway, outside the box, your man ATN. Like, subscribe, share. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Please go and hit the like button. please go and hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel. But also, check us out. Put some comments in the comment section. Say what you got to say. Get it off your chest. I love that. I want you to go ahead and say what you got to say. Not just here, not just with Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, but all three. Not just either one, all three. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. And go ahead and put your comments so I can respond back. I got much love for you. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Ation, Outside the Box, signing off.